guys, so today we're checking out the Flowmaster Outlaw Extreme single turn-down style exhaust system with the black tip, fitting all 2020 and newer 3.6 liter Gladiator JTs. Now getting right into sound, this will be a 4 out of 5 on the loudness meter, with 1 being completely stock and 5 being Wake the Neighbors loud. Now this is really going to up the volume and change the tone of the exhaust, creating a deeper and more throaty sound out of the 3.6 liter with little to no drone. Now that's going to make it a great pick for the JT owner looking for that extra volume and aggressiveness compared to some other systems while maintaining a comfortable cab environment. In addition to the sound, this will also be a great pick if you want to maximize your clearance and minimize any damage to your exhaust with a high clearance exhaust system. Now this will feature a turn-down style configuration, which will eliminate the muffler on the back, offering you some more room when it comes to your departure angles. Now speaking of performance, more sound also comes less restriction, so thanks to the Outlaw straight-through style muffler, you can expect to see small gains out of the system when it comes to horsepower, torque, and efficiency for some better performance out of your 3.6 liter. Getting into the construction, this will consist of 3-inch mandrel bent 409 stainless steel, which is a ½ inch larger than the factory, and it's going to beat it with streamlined and smooth airflow. Now the rear portion of the exhaust will also have a black powder coat finish to offer additional rust resistance. Now this exhaust will reuse the factory hangers and dump right before the rear axle, again keeping this minimal and tucked out of the way to maximize your clearance. This kit will be roughly $350, making it a pretty affordable option for a catback exhaust system. Now in comparison to other choices on the page, this will be simple and to the point with a no-fuss design, being that this will be minimal when it comes to the tubing and it's going to dump right before the axle compared to others that may include a different configuration like a dual or single rear exit. Those are usually going to offer more of a sporty look than this does. However, this is going to offer you a little bit more clearance. Now you'll also see some options with some different volume levels as well as materials, so I think if you're looking for a middle of the road system that will offer you a good amount of volume over its competitors, a solid build, and great performance, then this is the kit for you. Install will be a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking you no longer than 2 hours to get the job done with some pretty basic hand tools. Now at this point we can head over to the shop and check out a detailed breakdown of the install and what that looks like step by step. So that's going to wrap it up for me. Let's go ahead and jump into it.
Tools required for this install include an impact gun, a ratchet, some penetrating lubricant, a flathead screwdriver, an extension, a swivel adapter, a 10, shallow and deep 13, 15, and 18 millimeter sockets. What's up guys? Today we're installing an exhaust on our Gladiator. We're going to watch a quick little uninstall video for uninstalling the stock exhaust, and I'll meet you right back here for the install.
Okay guys, first step obviously is we're gonna have to remove our factory exhaust. Now we have our Gladiator up on a lift to give you guys some better angles to show you exactly what we're doing underneath the Jeep. And the way we're gonna do this is gonna preserve our factory exhaust. If you don't care about your factory exhaust, it might be easier just to cut it off, but we're gonna show you how to get this off while preserving the piping. So let's go ahead and get started. All right guys, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove the skid plate here, and that's so we can drop the front end of the exhaust down. It'll make it a little bit easier to kind of work its way out. The factory exhaust is basically one piece from the Y pipe all the way back to the tailpipe. So what we're first going to do is we have a 13 mil bolt or a nut right here we're going to remove, and then we have 4 18 millimeter bolts here and then 2 up front here that we're going to remove, and that'll let us get the skid plate down. All right, like I said guys, that one we just did was a 13 millimeter, and the next 4 are all going to be 18 millimeter sockets you're going to need. All right guys, now before I do the front 2, make sure you're supporting it with your hand, because once you loosen these, the skid plate's going to want to drop on you. All right guys, now this point back is what we're going to be removing. So this clamp here we're going to loosen. You're going to need a 13 mil socket for this ball clamp. Now, unlike a regular flat clamp, these ball clamps have a kind of a curved edge that kind of cup around the end of the flange here, so you have to loosen it quite a bit in order to slide this out eventually. So we have that pretty good loose, so we're going to move to the next step. All right, guys, now we're going to pull back on this lock tab. This is just kind of to prevent the clamp from sliding at all. So just get a screwdriver in there, pull that back. All right, guys, now we're right near the tailpipe, and this is the rearmost hanger. We're going to remove this bracket because it is the one bracket that is pointing in an opposite direction from the other hangers further forward on the exhaust. I'm going to use a 13 mil socket on these two bolts as well. All right, guys, now just to get it out of our way, we're gonna pull this hanger off. You're gonna have to pull it out a little bit and rotate it down. There's this little tab right here that hooks into the frame rail, so you need to get it away from there. You should be able to just pull this out like that. All right, guys, now go ahead and assemble a tool that comes with your Jeep. We're going to lower our spare tire, get that out of the way, and then also remove the spare tire guard to finish getting out our exhaust pipe. Now this tool basically goes into a plastic sleeve that's behind the bumper here. Once you get that in, you can't twist it by hand, then you know you're on the, it's kind of like a bolt back in there that the end of this tool goes on, and we're gonna use this just like a socket wrench. And then the lug wrench here has a square opening in it. Put that in the end here. All right, with a bunch of slack let out, guys, you don't want to drop it all the way to the ground. You want to be able to get a hand underneath your tire. Lift your tire up. And there's a black bracket the tire rests on. Slide it up the cable and get it through the lug hole. All right, guys, now to remove the heat shield that protects our spare tire, you're gonna have 5 bolts. They're all 10 millimeter. There's 3 up here that are gonna be very hard, if not impossible for you guys to see on camera here, but we're gonna take those 3 out first. All right, and then we have the last 2 right here, again, 10 millimeter. All right, guys, now at this step, we only have 2 hangers that are holding our exhaust pipe up, and they are both pointing towards the front, which means with the help of my friend back here, we're gonna slide the entire pipe backwards out of these 2 hangers and then drop it down and actually pull it forward to clear the rear axle.
So now that we have our stock exhaust removed, our next step is we're going to grab our clamp from our stock exhaust and we can wiggle that back into place. And then we can take our front pipe and slide that into our clamp. Now this bend is going to go down. We're going to take our 13mm socket to tighten that down. So now our next step is to install our tailpipe. So the first thing we're going to do is slide our clamp over our front pipe. Now I've got our front and middle hangers installed onto our exhaust because it's going to be a lot easier to do it this way than to put the hangers on first and then try to slide our pipe into them. So now we can get our hanger into position and start installing our factory bolts. So now we can take a 13mm socket to tighten down our bolts. Now we can do that same thing on our other hanger. Reinstall our factory bolts. And then we can tighten those down with that same 13mm socket. So now that we've got our hangers installed, holding our exhaust where it's going to be seated, we can come back to that clamp, slide that over the edge of our tailpipe, and then we can tighten that down with a 15mm socket. Our next step is to reinstall our brace. So we can lift that up into position. We'll get our front two bolts. Just a few threads in, hold it in place. And then we can install our nut. And then we can take our 18mm socket to tighten down our bolts. And then we'll swap to our 13mm socket to tighten down our nut. So our next step is to reinstall our heat shield. We have these two studs that are going to get our nuts and a nice rib nut that's going to get our bolt. And then we can grab our 10mm socket to tighten all of these down. And now coming to the other side, we can reinstall our remaining two 10mm bolts. And then we'll tighten those down with the same 10mm socket. So now we can reinstall our spare tire. I've got our tool that's included in the car. It's underneath the back seat. And then we're going to be going through this hole right below the tailgate. And then we'll be turning to the left to bring that down. So now since we're on the lift, I've got our spare tire on a table just to make this a little bit easier. So we're going to drop this piece through first. And then we can slide our bracket through. And now we can go back to our tool that's underneath the tailgate to raise this back up. So now we went ahead and raised it a little bit just to get it off of the table. And now we can just crank to the right to raise this the rest of the way up. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the Flowmaster Outlaw Extreme Single Exhaust System with black tip, turn down for your 2020 and newer 3.6 liter Jeep Gladiator JT. Thank you for watching, and for all things Gladiator, keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.